Hey guys, welcome to the show before the show. Good morning to you guys. Thanks for jumping in for the show before the show Wednesday morning. Hi, Bendy, Kimberly, David, Chris, Lizzie's here. You know what we talked about yesterday? Allegedly, that Gavin Newsom DeSantis debate's still going to go on.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
No, I think it's a November.
Yeah.
I mean, you want just this is like the dumbest thing ever.
I do too. I think it is so dumb. I don't think it's.
I hate the RNC.
I do too. The RNC sucks.
It's so against. Be fair, be honest. It's so against Trump.
It is.
That's all it is. We got to come up with a way. We got to come up with a way.
Right. And don't get me wrong. You and I have talked about this before. DeSantis is a great second choice. I mean, he really is. But I mean, this is just a waste of time. I'm not sure if there's money involved.
Well, Hannity's going to debate it, or he's going to be the moderator for.
Of course, Hannity is.
I forgot to bring that up yesterday.
I used to really like Hannity. I do, and it's not because he's doing this that I don't like him. He just.
No, this is Fox.
Yeah,
you do what your bosses tell you to do.
Of course you do. And I think Hannity is way more involved and knows the truth, but because of Fox, he has to toe the line.
Yeah, Scott, we'll get into the Wentzville stuff today too. We've been covering that.
Yeah.
Wentzville in the St. Louis area. We have a national podcast. I know all of our listeners nationally. You tell me you turn off or go away when we talk local.
But here's the deal. This thing with Wentzville is something that needs to be happening all across.
But even when I talk to our listeners in Michigan and California, they still
we don't
tell
care.
me that's what they tell me.
Yeah. And I do understand that. I really do, because if this was all going on, I don't know, say in Pennsylvania, would we really care if it was local stuff? But the only reason why we're bringing this
Not as much.
No. Nope. And I understand that. I do. I totally understand that. The Wentzville thing is only because that is literally God's country. It's literally Midwest at its finest. And they're doing that stuff here. So.
Well, it's just only takes one person.
Correct.
Good morning, Ben.
Correct. And Nancy says DeSantis is a sneak. Ben, there's Ben. And Chris says Hannity is a CIA and RNC shill. I agree, Chris. I didn't used to think so, but. Yep. And DeSantis, I do agree. I like him. I do. But I do think he was kind of a sneak. There's something, about the fact that he is still doing this.
Well, the
when
only
he has
reason I
no
brought
chance.
but the only reason I brought it up is that they're doing a debate with two people. It's like you got all these Republican debates. Now we're
Yeah.
going to give DeSantis another debate.
Right. Well, maybe it's because he didn't get it playing the devil's advocate. Nobody let him talk the last time.
No, this was planned even before.
Yeah.
That's my issue. It's all about pushing, and it still won't do any good.
Right. They're only trying to push DeSantis at this point because they're doing, and we'll get into this later into the show, but they're doing every single thing they can to get rid of Trump. And they think they can, and they think they will. And so when in their mind they do that, then they're propping up DeSantis. Yeah, Nancy's saying DeSantis that she heard that he had a Soros connection, a little bit, but not really much. That's more Vivek that has a Soros connection.
It's still small. I still think
even Vivek probably didn't know when he took that money who they were.
Maybe not to the extent now, but he knew.
Now, right?
I don't think he was thinking about politics.
Right, he probably wasn't. But now we know. I mean, we didn't even know, like when the whole Ferguson thing hit, and that exactly how much Soros was involved. We knew, but not to the extent.
Hey, Joe.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and start the show. We'll come back. We'll tease it. Then we'll go to our commercials. Is that cool?
Sure.
I appreciate it, buddy. So we can go ahead and get started. Hey guys, welcome to cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Lizzie Sparks, Projo in the house as well. September 27th, that is a Wednesday. You have walked in to cancelthisshow.com. You can catch us on our website. All of our original content is there. News headlines, politics, cancel culture, education, business. The Freaky Friday, paranormal, free for all. You never know what you're going to get on a Friday. We've got that as well. We're also bringing you all of the current events, and there just seems to be a lot of them, that's for sure. Coming up on the show today, we've got a segment with Greenlight coming up at 9:30, Greenlight Dispensary, for the Weed Wednesday segment. Coming up at about 8:30, 8:40, we've got Kathy L. Big Strick, Steve Strick from Experience Realty, 314-276-SOLD, 314-276-SOLD. Plus, New American Funding with Steve Strick. We always like to talk a little when it comes to the whole situation regarding New Age health and wellness as well. When it comes to today's show, besides that, okay, you've got a judge, the deep state and the left going after Trump yet again on the same day that a massive revelation comes out against him. This is one of the most blatant black and white issues with a president I have ever seen when it comes to money and connections to enemies and foreign countries that you could possibly imagine, the payments to the Biden house. We'll get into that. A judge going after Donald Trump. Now that they can't take away his popularity, they're trying to take away his money. I mean, it won't stop. Yet we have Americans sitting there with their heads in the sand, refusing to believe anything because that's just, do you ever know, you know those people in life that something crazy happened, but they refuse to believe it. They're like, oh yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Tinfoil hat, whatever.
You all just crazy people.
Eric.
Well, not even. Well, yeah.
Eric. Well, it does take Eric. Eric
It's also
is a good example of
a lot of
that.
people who grew up in the 80s are like that
That's true.
because there's an explanation for everything.
Nobody's
There
that
isn't
evil.
with this Trump stuff. There just isn't.
Mhm.
The same damn day again. We'll get into that. This is a situation. It's Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey who's joined us on the show. He has been as active as any attorney general in the country. And we bring it up just because he has filed suit against the local school district. This could happen at anywhere in the country. Because just wait to hear what people on school boards were trying to do and what they were saying about it. We've had a lot of this in the St. Louis area. There's been a lot of it in the Virginia area. There's been a lot of it in California, New York. We'll talk about all of those things that are going on. Michelle Obama getting nearly $1 million to talk in Germany. I mean, come on.
Man.
We've got that going on. There's more. We're going to do it. Here's a look at our partners. You can always check out our merchandise as well at canceltheshow.com. But first, we're going to get you in, getting everybody rocking and rolling. Check out our advertisers. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. We're going to kickstart this show. Please like, subscribe, share the show. Go to the individual platforms. Give us a thumbs up. That helps with the whole situation and making sure we're getting out to as many people as possible. And we'll be back in just a couple of minutes here.
House has the largest selection of solid wood with the hottest new styles. Real furniture that's built to last, like our solid bedrooms, living rooms, and dining from Kincaid. Our volume enables us to save you a lot of money, especially during our solid wood sale. Plus, get free financing, fast free delivery, and free in-home design. So for solid wood, sweet styles, and solid service since 1964, shop over 3 football fields of furniture at Carroll House, because you like nice things.
Marco! Wait, what? No response? Hi, I'm Curtis Sparks with Complete Auto Body and Repair, offering full service and auto repair to St. Louis and St. Charles. We are looking for someone to say polo. That's right, we are hiring. We want you now. If you would like to work in a well-paying environment, then you owe it to yourself to stop by one of our 6 Complete Auto Body and Repair locations. Will you help me find that missing person? Please call me directly at 636-488-HIRE. That's right, 636-488-4473.
Dad, and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
He fixed the cars.
Kathy O. Big Strick, owner of Experience Real Estate Partners with eXp, has been one of St. Louis, Missouri's highest selling groups for 26 years running. In that time, Kathy and her team have successfully assisted an incredible 4,000 families. So if you're thinking about buying, building, or selling, be sure to put Kathy's group and their experience to work for you, and you can expect to be moved. Just give her a call at 314-276-SOLD. That's 314-276-7653, or find her online at experience-re.com.
Attention, anyone who served, lived, or worked at Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987. Camp Lejeune's drinking water was dangerously toxic, and base personnel and their families have since suffered cancer and other illnesses. If you or a loved one spent time at Camp Lejeune and were diagnosed with cancer, you may be eligible for significant compensation. Call the Driscoll firm now. Consultations are free, and you won't pay a fee unless we get you the money you deserve. 1-800-805-4800.
As all of you may know, the home of the Cancel This studio is located at the all-inclusive private jet hangar, Strategic Air Services. Founded in Chesterfield, Missouri, they take pride in offering a meticulous approach to private aviation through services that fully manage your trip from takeoff to landing. Strategic Air Services is more than just storage for your aircraft. They offer state-of-the-art amenities to its members and guests. When you are not traveling, you have the luxury of enjoying their world-class gym, conference rooms, lounges, and so much more. Strategic Air Services offers an unparalleled luxury experience for all things private aviation. If you're looking for a new place to call home for your aircraft, give them a call today at 636-400-7601. Again, that's 636-400-7601, or visit their website at strategicairservices.net.
Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley, if you don't know, is a family-owned business that has been around since 1994, serving some of the best chicken wings in town, no joke. Also known for their fresh burgers, pizza, and incredible smoked meat. Top-notch happy hour specials are included, plus live music every Friday and Saturday. Oh yeah, you can also enjoy their spacious heated covered patio. It's Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley, 18,000 Chesterfield Airport Road. Hey guys, welcome back to cancelthisshow.com. It is a Wednesday, September 27th. I'm Vic Faust with Lizzie Sparks and Projo. We got a packed show for you. Of course, the Strict's coming up about 8:30, 8:40. We've got Greenlight Dispensary at 9:30. In between, we are talking about a ton of stories going on all around the country and explaining why you should care. First off today, and it is total crap. What is going on? Okay, you've got a president now. Thank God for the House Oversight Committee. This is why voting does matter. Because when you get Republicans in control of the House, you can do these investigations. If you're a conservative, you had feelings for Donald Trump and you didn't like what was happening to him with all of the investigations and fake ones that were not partisan, they were partisan, not bipartisan, then you can kind of see where this other side goes. Okay. Thank God for Representative Comer. Yet now he said it's the biggest crime family you could ever imagine in the White House. Maybe the worst ever. And now you have a situation on top of everything else that we have seen, the texts, the emails connecting Hunter to Ukraine, Hunter to China, Hunter to Russia, the president, the big guy getting payments. Now you have $250,000 in wire payments going from Beijing, China, Beijing, communist China. I don't even care if you're the president or not, you're getting payments from China.
Mm-hmm.
$250,000 in the summer of 2019 that were listed and going to the home of Joe Biden. He was the beneficiary address for the funds. If that's not one of the worst things you could ever imagine with the president,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what is. Oh, I don't know what's going on with Hunter. I never talked to him about his business. He lied, and we caught him in lies with phone calls. We caught him in lies with emails and texts. So don't ever let anybody tell you, oh, well, there's no evidence. There's no evidence. There's evidence everywhere. Just because the DOJ and the FBI are crooked at the top does not mean that the crimes did not happen. It just means that they're in power, and that's what's going on. So they announced that yesterday. $250,000 going to the Biden home. He should be out of office today. It should be over.
It should be done. There should be no more talk about Joe Biden.
And yet another example of how Hunter Biden is arguably one of the worst people. He's not hurting people physically that we know of, but just one of the worst individuals to breathe life in regards to everything. This crooked, selfish, self-centered, white privileged dude, the life that he has lived, his silver spoon life, and acting as if he has done nothing wrong on any account. Hunter Biden, Joe Biden. It's over. I've been talking about it's over. There's no way these two run. And the media sucks. I mean, they absolutely suck trying to cover the stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
And you should be, and if anybody, I don't want to pay attention. Okay. Yes, there's corruption. Yes, people cheat. Yes, people will try. And you know what? I trusted people for a long time. I don't trust people anymore.
Right. Isn't that the truth?
I've been burned so many times in the last year and a half. But beside that, this should be pissing people off. $250,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Should it upset you? Yes. Should it ruin your day? No. But at the end of the day, you need to know it. And when you vote, and that's why when you have candidates and people that support corruption like this, you got to get them out of office. And then you can't trust, well, every election's going to be just perfectly fine. And then it's like, well, who's voting? Well, we're going to let everybody vote. Once again, A connects to B, B connects to C, C connects to D. It's all on the drawing board. You have to connect the dots. Why it's important. Yes, votes matter. Yes, it matters who's in office. And yes, this is the largest crime syndicate family we've ever had. Just the pure, we're going to stick it in your face. F you, America. We are going to do business with communist China. We're going to get all the money that we need. We're going to bring whores to the White House. We're going to do crack cocaine. We're going to take pictures of it. My dad's going to support it. And then we're going to try to sue Rudy Giuliani and anybody else that got information and sent it out. If this is what you want to vote for, go for it. But shame on you. You're an ignorant fool if you would ever consider voting for this guy. And I don't call people names, But if you really sit back and think that this is not the biggest corrupt state you have ever seen, then you're mistaken yourself. This is, I read it 4 or 5 times. I'm like, there is no way in hell this is true. There is no way in hell. And it's black. It should be posted all across America. And if it was Donald Trump, it would be. Hell, if it was Ron DeSantis, it would be.
Absolutely. If it was any Republican that they thought would win, it would be everywhere. But because it isn't, they just hide it. You're right. And you're a fool if you vote for this family. And it's a family syndicate.
No, Democrats won't care. Bendy says, will Democrats care about this? No, because that's your guy. And that gets into my other issue.
Yep.
Sorry, Lizzie. When it comes to the pride factor. The pride factor is the worst thing humans have.
You betcha.
First of all, one of the most difficult things for a human to do is admit that they're wrong and apologize. There's nothing more difficult for a human to do. And you know it because you've dealt with friends, family members, work associates. There are people who refuse to apologize, refuse to admit that they were wrong, refuse to move on because of their pride. It's not a big deal. Apologize, move on. If you messed up, just admit it, move on. But people hate Donald Trump so much that they can't do it. And maybe I think it's going less and less. His ratings are smaller and smaller, but people just don't like the alternative. This is the dirtiest thing. I just keep reminding myself, could you imagine? I mean, even if Clinton would have done this.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they would have crucified Clinton.
Hell
today.
yes.
Yeah, they sure would.
And any Republican president. Is it making the headways nationally, in my opinion, right now? No, it should be all over the place. All Fox News wanted to do this morning was promote their debate tonight. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But damn, talk about, this is huge. You've got a House Oversight Committee that has dropped bomb after bomb after bomb with evidence after evidence after evidence, and it's still not gaining the traction that I feel that it should.
No, it isn't, because they are not saying it. You're right. It's pride. And you look at any of mainstream media, they're not talking about it at all, including Fox. Like you said, nobody's really talking about that. You got to dig to find it. Or if they do, that's like a little blurb, and it's still.
Don't even watch local news. I mean, it's worthless. I mean, I mean, you get your sports anywhere else you want to. I mean, weather maybe, but I don't know. Do you trust those guys?
No, I don't even watch weather anymore.
Damn. I mean, it's wrong. These are the important stories that are affecting our country. Yes. And why does it matter? Because they're the same people that dictate laws. They're the same people that put things in place that eventually have the trickle-down effect.
Correct.
Jay says Fox News is the only one covering the story. Yeah, they're covering it. They're just not covering it in a massive deal. I don't know. There's certain things that hit me. That one really, really, really got. It's $250,000. There's no other person. Hunter Biden is Hunter Biden. Joe Biden is Joe Biden. Their residence is in Delaware. The money wires going straight to the freaking president's house in 2019 after he had already announced that he was running for president.
And it just is so infuriating.
And that wasn't the first time. This crap's been going on.
It keeps going on. It keeps going on. Documents in his Corvette. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on, and nobody cares. For people like us.
Conservatives care.
To a certain extent.
Liberals don't.
Liberals don't care.
And as Chris says, this is a great point. And of course, we are a live podcast, and we appreciate you jumping in when you can. We just want facts. I mean, talk about it. We all know that Biden should not be in office because of his cognitive ability, but there's a whole nother silo. He shouldn't be in office because of his crime syndicate, not only himself, but his son. And God knows who else doing whatever else, robbing this country, pillaging it on a daily basis. Because when you feel as if you're superior to everybody, you feel as if you can do whatever the hell you want. That's what Biden raised.
Yes.
Biden raised that piece of shit. And that's what you start to see. And I'm sorry, if you voted for that man and you still support him, something has to be wrong, or your pride factor is out of this world.
Correct. And they did. I mean, he is such an entitled brat that he does whatever he wants, whenever he wants. And part of it, I think he even does to get at his dad. And so, and his dad is such a weak, evil piece of poop.
Yeah, just be honest.
I mean, it is awful.
Be honest. Be truthful.
No, They're not going to be. I mean, you're asking way too much
I know.
of anybody right now, even on the left, because they're doubling down with their pride. And they just care about this. And we've talked about it so much. They're just talking about their woke agenda and who can be in what bathroom and who's transgender. And
Yeah, that's to get us lost.
I mean, it is to get us lost.
Chris
That
says
is
not
what it
only is the pride factor there, but Democrats have been so conditioned to follow the party line, even if they don't
Correct.
like the preferred political idol.
Correct.
That's the biggest difference between the two parties.
Absolutely.
So I don't know how this man, I know that the Democrats will not take him out of office yet. The time is not right. But the Democrats are allowing, in the midst of all of this stuff, Jay says, hey guys, Representative Comer, who's leading the House Oversight Committee for the House, and they can do these committees. I know this is dumbing it down for everybody, but so that you understand, the House has a slim majority of Republicans, so they can start these investigations. So they start the investigation into the Biden crime syndicate, and evidence just keeps pouring in. So Comer brings this out yesterday. Well, then he also said, and you're right, Jay, I did see this, that more evidence is coming that could be even worse. They're getting the records. They're getting the information. If the FBI and the DOJ won't do anything, then I'm not sure what can happen except the American public getting educated on it. And if a Donald Trump were to come into office and saw some sort of illegal activity, and that's where I'm not an attorney from that standpoint, because I know that they can't go after them. They can't prosecute. They can't bring anything to light that's going to put them in jail. It's for the American public to know what the hell's going on. Maybe a Trump could bring more to the table. I don't know. But if Americans were to ever vote this guy in, then shame on Americans, because we already know what's happening. Not only is it the worst president in the history of this country, and that's a massive statement. It's not even close. It's not even close. It's also the most corrupt president, at least from what we've heard of, because there was an investigative committee to see everything that's been done. And it's not stopping. We're continuing to get this information. All of the backdoor deals, which have now compromised this country with the weakest, just angriest, most feeble, just not intelligent president we've ever had, ever, with one of the worst families ever. And I mean, it just goes down and down. And that's why I have to agree with our Robert that he was selected for this position, because he is so stupid.
Correct.
Because he's weak, because he's angry, because he's mean, because people can get over on him. They can do whatever the hell that they want to. It's a way to bring down this country. We have never been more susceptible to foreign attack. We have our military shredded down, our finances, inflation, immigration. I'm trying to stay positive, and I am, but I have to get that stuff out. Donna says action speaks louder than words sometimes. Yes, they do. I'm not quite sure what exactly you were talking about with that. But the problem is this, as Aaron says too, Lizzie, local prosecutors and attorney generals in states need to bring charges like these, the ones that they were doing against Trump. Because as we know, conservatives sit back. They don't spend their money. They're not passionate about broadcast. Conservatives are not passionate about their people on the news, their people on podcasts like we do. They're just not. You guys, we love you. But I'm telling you, the people with money, they don't support what we do.
No, they don't.
They don't. We live it every day. We are out busting our ass trying to get people and advertisers to support. We're afraid, or we don't want to do that. And I mean, you have people, and the people that do it love it. And they see success when they advertise. But at first, everybody's like, oh, well, we don't want to make a scene, and we don't want to do that. And that's part of the problem. That's why Democrats continue to get over and over and over, because there's not enough media outlets that have a big enough voice to get this message out there over and over and over again.
Right, because people think Republicans were mean, we're nasty, we're judgmental, and that we're
racist.
Yes, we're racist and xenophobes. The people still think that. And even the ones that don't, literally, like just yesterday, my husband met a new neighbor and he's a police officer. And ironically, he had heard about our show and he's like, how do you guys get by with saying all of that? And I was like, you wouldn't on mainstream radio because you would have advertisers that would drop out.
Eventually people catch up.
Well, they are catching up. That's the great thing.
On a large scale, more people around the country. We broadcast out of the St. Louis area, but we're a national show. The St. Louis area, Missouri, is backwards. And what I mean by that is it's just slow to change. Well, we've done this our whole life, so we're going to that's a bullshit mentality. You got to break out of the shell and move on. And that's why people listen to the show get it. You guys get it. But there's a lot of people who don't. And that's sad to hear that a cop said that.
Well, and he thinks we're badass. He thinks that we're really great. He's just like, it's so funny that you're so bold. And he goes, and here
we're bold.
Yeah.
Well, just because if you watch a little news anchor on TV do this and
yes, we are bold. And there's a lot of people that are bold.
We don't want to tell the truth because we don't want to offend anybody.
There you go. Bingo right there. It's the offense. People don't want to offend anybody. And I go, as you know, Vic, all the time to sporting events and people will come up to me and they're like, gosh, I listened to your show. But they look around to see if anyone else is looking because to some people, we're considered very far right. Oh, yeah, I can tell that. People come up and they whisper to me and they're like, God, you guys are just so badass. But it's so interesting because we are not far right. We are just telling the truth. And that's what I tell people. We're not far right, fringe, crazy, wackadoodles. It's just the truth.
Well, in politics, you have to work with both sides. The problem is,
unfortunately, but you do.
You have to. But if the other side won't work with you, then you're stuck. And that happens a lot. And then that's when you try to get things done. Then it's like, okay, how are we going to handle this situation now? Because, you have to give a little to get a little sometimes. That's just the way of the world. That's how it's always been. And it's how it's always going to be. This whole situation with the Bidens, I mean, yet again, over and over and over again. And that's why when Comer speaks, he's not bringing up little futile charges. He's not bringing up futile evidence. I mean, these are massive truth bombs. They're exploding all over the place. And if anybody took the time to read it, because outside of Fox and Newsmax, I guess a lot of people can't find OAN. Sometimes they do. You're not going to hear about it. You will from us, and we're going to continue to put it out there. But it takes time when Americans have been conditioned to get headlines or news from certain spots. And of course, as we talk about, when you're comfortable, you don't really think about all the other things until everything is taken away. And then if you start to say something, then maybe, you might be a conspiracy theorist. This stuff is as black and white as it gets with the money. It's
black and white.
Just remember, $250,000. $250,000 in wire payments from Beijing, China to President Joe Biden's house.
Yeah.
And the name from Hunter Biden.
Yep.
Yeah. Dawn says, next time I see you guys, Lizzie, in public, I'll come out and shout, I love your show. Cancel this.
Oh, that would be great. I would love it for people to be bold like that because really they are. Conservatives are so great and they're badass, but they do look around like, oh yeah, because they don't want anybody else to know they're political. Actually, left or right. People are not supposed to come to sporting events or whatever and be political. And that's a real problem. And that's why the left has run away with the nonsense.
Well, Chris, and they're investing massively. The left is investing massively in social media, in podcast, and getting the messages out. Chris says, just look at the differences between the people with money on the left and with people with money on the right. On the left, many invest huge amounts by our standards to create a culture, to bend the public to accept their agenda. They do. And part of this mission here and what we're doing in trying to get larger, I mean, I'm talking to people around the country and it was like, yeah, but everybody drags their feet. And it's not just here.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. I'm sorry. Republicans are selfish and they hold on to their damn money and they just hope for the best. They do. And I'm not trying to be too mean, but Republicans with money freaking,
but you're right. You're absolutely right. And
they don't, but you want to talk a game but then you want all the money for yourself and your toys and your cool comfort. You don't want to get the message out. The left are out there. They're fucking, or they are just,
They're all out
they
there.
are beating our ass with money.
They are. They totally are. And you're right. And I think it's interesting how Republicans are considered conservative for that money. They're money conservative too.
Chris says maybe a centrist in Elon and the owner of Rumble. That's the biggest problem.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know what that means. It's money, but people's got to go out there and do that.
Right. And that is true. And I'm not sure if that's
it pisses me off because I hate fakeness.
Yeah, there's a lot of fake.
I hate fake people. Be direct, be honest, be black and white, be kind, be persistent, but don't be fake.
Mm-hmm.
Glenn says, done a lot of wire transfers. How do you wire funds to a house?
Isn't that interesting? How do you?
Yeah, it had his address. If you haven't seen that story, Glenn, I mean, it's
amazing. The address was there twice. I mean, it's just so bizarre. And obvious. They're so obvious. That is what's going on to your fakeness. You've got the left that is in your face, out there. I don't give a crap. We're doing it to you, right wingers. This is what we're doing. And then you've got the right. A lot of people on the right, like you were saying, with money, they are fake. They're like, yeah, I'm going to help you.
There's $70 million campaign right now.
Right.
To promote Joe Biden, to go after Trump, going down to podcasts like ours, giving them money to start promoting their agenda.
Big money.
There's no Republican. There's no conservative movement. There's no money anywhere. Everybody holds on to it. Oh, yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to do that.
Massive money is going into Democrat media everywhere and podcasts and all of it.
Jay says Hunter gave somebody the wrong account number.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure that's what we're going to hear too. Oh, it was a mistake. It was a mistake.
Well, no, there's no mistake on this one.
We know. Mm-hmm.
So on the day that this truth bomb gets dropped by Representative Comer with the House Oversight Committee, then what happens? It's not by chance that Trump news, when the deep state, when the left goes after Trump, maybe even the RNC in some cases, for conspiracy theorists out there who feel that they don't want him around.
Right.
What happens? They go after Trump. On the same day after this is released, right after, then what do they do to try to turn the headline around? Because they're playing chess and Republicans are playing checkers. A New York judge rules that Trump committed fraud while building his real estate attorney. So they're accusing, and if you look up the Attorney General of New York, as we heard earlier, you've got to get the attorney generals to go out and do stuff. And we're going to talk about Missouri's Attorney General later, what he's doing. But Letitia James, who is a massive progressive left, comes out with this ruling. What they're trying to do with this ruling, they're trying to take all the funding away from Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want him to be able to operate at all. You can't take his popularity away. You've thrown multiple indictments at him. You've come at him with bad press. You came at him with a mugshot. None of it's working. It's only pushing him higher and higher because as lazy and stupid as Americans can be, they're not stupid enough to not think that, oh, why do they want this guy out so bad? Most Americans are starting to see that when you look at polling. And when I say most, I mean over 50%. So after they tried to, quote, rule against Trump yesterday, they're trying to say now that his company deceived banks. And by the way, none of this would be happening. None of these arrows and darts would be thrown or shot at Trump if he wasn't running for president. It's only because he is willing to stand in between us and them over and over and over again. Said that his company deceived banks, insurers, and others by massively overhauling his assets, exaggerating his net worth. So now they're trying to go after his money. They're ordering some of his business license be taken away as punishment to try to take away money because he doesn't have to rely on the deep state. He doesn't have to rely on the RNC. He doesn't have to rely on lobbyists and organizations. He does it himself. He can't be bought. And that's a problem. So this comes out of nowhere. Of course, where do a lot of these things originate against Trump? New York. Of course. It's a far leftist progressive state. It's in shambles. It has a ton of problems. It is not a great place to be anymore. I'm sorry. We've got New Yorkers that listen. It's nowhere near the state that it used to be. And you change the narrative. You get people to not think about their horrible exiting of the state, their horrible migration situation that's going on, their horrible crime, their horrible inflation, all of those things. Let's go after Donald Trump again, over and over and over and over again. So, Trump sued James too, the attorney general. So she's got something personal.
Mm-hmm.
He said that she abused her position as attorney general to recklessly injure him and his family and his businesses. And he alleged that James was pursuing a relentless, unapologetic crusade against him with the goal of destroying him personally, financially, and politically. So that happened in it. Let's see. He dismissed the lawsuit back in January, but he had filed this lawsuit
Mm-hmm.
previously, but he
Right.
dismissed it in January. And then she comes back at him now with this stuff.
Right. It's this whole.
It's all crap.
It is
Once
all
again,
crap.
to get you not to think about what's happening in the White House, what's
Mhm.
happening with Joe Biden, and try to tear down Donald Trump at the same point in time.
It's all nuts, and it's so obvious. It's so obvious. But of course, we knew that something was going to come out with this Joe Biden stuff. It's so obvious now. It's so obvious.
It's the same. It's 4 times it's happened now.
Yes, 4. Probably more than, probably even more than we even know. But there's 4 really big things that have happened. So it's just absolutely, it's scary because we look to the rest of the world who doesn't understand all of this, that we're a bunch of yahoos and that we truly are the banana republic right now. And we are the banana republic. Yeah, we are.
I know. I'm just.
Yeah, we are. It is.
I mean, we've gone 34, 35 minutes pretty strong right out of the gate with this situation, with what's happening with Donald Trump, what's happening with the Bidens and the money coming in over and over and over. And the one thing I don't hear are other Democratic politicians really coming to the forefront to defend Joe and Hunter. Do you guys see any? I don't, because they know they're on an island because of what they've done. And even the Democrats know, and they won't. I mean, you've had Republicans say he needs to leave. You've got Democrats going after him for the migrant crisis, but the last thing that they don't want Donald Trump either.
No, they don't.
So they're not defending Joe Biden, but they're not attacking him. They're just being, shh, we're going to be quiet.
Right.
Let's just see where everything is going.
Yeah.
And it's sad to see what's happened to this once great. We're not some massively great country. We're just not. I love our country.
I do. I love our country.
I love our,
too.
but we're not some great country.
Not like
we're
we used
just
to be.
not.
Mm-mm. And it's sad. It's sad that you even have to say that, because I love America so much. And when my family travels and we go out of America, we always feel ill at ease and like we can't wait to get home. And as soon as the airplane drops down and we put our feet on American soil, it's all a collective. No, even if it was somewhere tropical, we went. But now it's every day, this country is getting more and more embarrassing. And I don't know that we're even the safest place anymore. It's so sad.
Well, we talk about that happening. And then you had another one of these, I call them the flash mob robs.
Yeah.
In Philadelphia last night. Younger kids, thugs, hoodlums, just street, whatever you want to call them, attacking businesses with no regard, no respect, no God, no morals. And this is what people are raising in these blue cities. I repeat, blue cities.
Yes. Yes.
Shame on the parents. Shame on the adults who are raising these thugs, racing around, doing whatever the hell that they want. And you have prosecutors who refuse to keep people in jail, refuse to throw the book at these people, refuse to do what they should be doing for these kids to teach a lesson. They ransacked Foot Locker, Apple, Lululemon in downtown Philadelphia. At least the police, from video and accounts, were trying to chase them, not like in St. Louis. where our men in blue, women in blue aren't allowed to do what they should be doing a lot, going after these punks.
Correct.
And they're boys and girls.
Yeah, there's girls in this mess too. It used to mainly be boys, but there's girls all
Stealing,
mixed in it. Yeah.
vandalizing. Why? Because we feel like it. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Because you've been told you deserve this, that you're entitled to this, you're entitled to that. Once again, Hunter Biden, he's entitled. He feels like he deserves this and he deserves that because daddy has money. Daddy was connected. And just because a family has money or parents are connected doesn't mean the kids are going to be bad. I know several people who are very fortunate from a financial standpoint.
And their
They're
kids are great.
100% better than the average family.
Yes.
Of that, but might be average because they understand. Because guess what? It starts with the parents.
Correct.
The parents teaching them, this is how you give back. This is how you have more of a responsibility.
Yeah, I'm with you. I know plenty of families that they've worked their butt off or inherited or whatever, but they still have good morals and values, and they teach their kids to be great and to know right and wrong and love our country and honor police officers and do the right thing. There definitely is more of that still. There is more of it. I see it every day that the kids are really great. But you take somebody, to your point, like Joe Biden, that is so entitled and they do have money, but in the end, I don't care what anybody says. You might be happy about that for a little while, but look at the Biden family. They're just ugly acting people and their souls are dark, and you can't be that evil for that long and be okay.
Joanna says we live in a world where everyone, and this is true, I don't care if you're black, white, man, woman, whatever, feels that they're entitled to something.
She is absolutely right.
You just can't make this stuff up. And I just think of these business owners.
Yes.
And being one itself and doing everything that's possible to try to make it. I know these are national chains, but for these people, these kids, whatever, come in and just start tearing down businesses, stealing. I mean, CVS or Target's closing 9 stores.
Yes, 9.
Target. Because people just come in and steal and take whatever the hell that they want.
Yep.
With no regard, which is why it starts with the family and the parents. And of course, when you're an excuse maker, well, these are kids. They're just, no, that's how it starts.
That is how it starts.
And it gets worse. And as parents, you can't do that stuff. You just can't. Anyway, that story in Philadelphia is just one that we're seeing. And not only are the Target stores closing, CVS.
Yeah.
And by the way, those Target stores, one in New York and all the other ones, West Coast, mostly in California.
Yes, and Oregon.
And Washington. All massively blue states. We're calling it how it is, black and white truth. That's what happens from that standpoint.
You betcha.
This is cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Lizzie Sparks. We've got Pro Joe in the house as well. And now we bring in our friends, Kathy L. Big Strick, Steve Strick from Experience Realty Partners, New American Funding via Score Mortgage. And we'll talk a little, we'll get our New Age health and wellness update today as well. Guys, it's good to see you. How are you?
Great. How are you guys?
Good to see you.
Your shot looks good. You guys look fantastic. Real quick, right out of the gate, Kathy, I got to get into the real estate because I was asked to ask you a question.
Okay.
When it comes to the amount of houses that have come on, I know we've been hovering. Is it true that it's expected in the next 2 months that we're going to have a lot more inventory or not?
Depends on where you're at in the United States, and it also depends on rates. We actually usually have the slowest month is usually September, and oddly enough, the last 2 weeks we've had a little rush in real estate. So we're seeing that. I haven't heard that necessarily is the case for St. Louis, but we have been outpacing what our normal inventory coming on this time of the year would be compared to what we've seen earlier in the year. So I would think there might be some people putting their houses on the market. They're not slowing down for the typical seasonal slowdowns. It's all rate driven right now and life driven. So if someone needs to move, we're having people that are, changing jobs, we have divorces, we have deaths. All of those are life situations. So those houses are always moving every single day of the year.
Well, Steve, you must be doing something right, because I heard of another mortgage company, and that's 2 that I know of, that they're closing up shop. And I'm not trying to be negative about it, but I know that You know what you're doing. I've known you for a long time. You've had a lot of success. Are you hearing more and more stories of mortgage companies struggling then, obviously, because you're connected to real estate?
Yeah, no, I am. I'm hearing a lot of stories, a lot of big names of people that have been in the business a long time, people that we know, people that we've seen on TV. I got a phone call the other day from somebody that's very well known in St. Louis, and I got asked to take a look at his space, his commercial space, because he was no longer going to be in that space. So, yeah, I just think that people weren't prepared for this. Business models were not prepared for this. A lot of people took advantage of consumer to direct refinances. And as soon as that business dries up, when rates go up, your business is drying up. So yes, I'm going to see more people. They said by the end of the year, 40% of the loan originators that started the year will be out of the business.
What,
40%.
nationally?
Yes.
How can we survive that? I mean, will everybody else pick up the slack?
I mean, everybody's they're going to have to find jobs elsewhere. So, I mean, if you think about it, the housing market has two sides, right? You have a buy side and a sell side. The mortgage market has two sides, right? The refinance side and the purchase side. If you cut one of those heads off, we only have one side left. So we have the purchase business. We don't have refinance. So there's a lot of business that's being fought for. And, in turn, it's driving margins down on the back end, which is causing businesses to change their plans.
Are you guys having to adjust and change as well with some of the things that you guys are doing right now? Because I know that you've tried to come up with some plans for realtors to help make it more worth their while.
Yeah. No, I mean, we did come up with a program. We've been working on that, prior to this, this big dip, but, we have made some changes. We've implemented some new strategies. The game is changing and everybody says, well, you got to get back to the basics. That's bullshit. The basics will get you somewhere, but the game has changed. Your audience has changed. They're not looking for you at the same places. So you gotta adapt. And Kath can talk to that point in real estate too. But yeah, I mean, everybody's got to change or you're going to probably get passed up or die off.
We're getting a lot of questions already for you guys. Kathy, of course, if you have any questions, I mean, when it comes to mortgage, when it comes to real estate, as we talk about every single day, buying, selling, want to know how to do this, how to do that, what may be coming. 314-276-SOLD, 314-276-SOLD. Ask Kathy's team, call them. There's no pressure. I mean, they know what they're doing. They've been around forever. We know them personally. They come in on Wednesdays. You're not going to find more education, more honesty, more straightforward answers and help than you will with Kathy and her team at Experience Real Estate or Experience Realty Partners, as I was talking about. 314-276-SOLD. If you have mortgage questions, you can call them as well, and they'll get you to Steve, or you can just give Steve a call with New American Funding. He's given us his number. You can call 314-374-0770. Kathy, we're getting questions already.
Yes. I saw one from Bindi. Bindi asked if there was a program to advance cash up front for repairs. And we did talk about something like that in the past. What it is we have a program that can allow the seller to make some improvements and pay at closing. So yes, it depends on how much equity is in your house, but we definitely have a program for that will allow you to do some of the things that need to be done so you don't have to come out of pocket as long as you have equity in your house.
Of course you have a program. You have a program for everything.
And that's something that, as the market kind of takes little dips, I mean, when it's supply and demand and there's buyers out your door, we don't have to necessarily go through some of that stuff. But then when we have little slowdowns, then we do need to go in and go ahead and have the seller make some repairs. Anytime that you make the house its best condition, you're going to get the most and the highest offers anyway. So it's really a good idea to let us come over and evaluate, walk through the house, give you some suggestions, tell you the things that we think are important that are going to get you more money for your house versus the things that maybe you're just, you have your own pride of ownership is getting in the way. And we're saying, listen, you don't really need to do that. Let's get the house on the market.
Well, another question that we had for you guys, what about Airbnbs? Are they playing a factor in what's throwing the housing market off, or maybe one of the reasons?
Well, any buy and hold situation is throwing the market off a little bit. And we're seeing that with some Airbnbs, and we're seeing that obviously with the investor buyers that have been buying for the last 4 years. So that's definitely impacting our inventory. And that's actually going to be a long time impact. We're going to see the residual of this for quite some time to come. So if anybody thinks that we are going to be out of this housing struggle overnight, they got another thing coming, because we still have so much inventory to catch up on that is not going to be coming back to the market. You think about all of these investors that are buying and holding to rent these homes are on a 10-year program, most of them, and the same with Airbnbs. So the houses that are coming for sale that then get converted to a lease or to an Airbnb are not going to be coming back on the market in that usual 5 to 7 year cycle of when somebody resells their house again. So we're creating a future inventory problem that's still going to bite us.
Well, I just continue to hear about it over and over. BlackRock Vanguard, BlackRock Vanguard, BlackRock Vanguard. Do you guys hear about that every day?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty much every day.
Yeah, I'm sure you're getting tired of it for sure.
I think we're all getting tired of it, but
Yes.
it's being talked about right now. Wait till interest rates dip a little bit. I mean, that's all in their algorithms. So they will be buying more.
That's
really, and I guess everybody across the country understands and realizes this, at least in positions that you guys have.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say
Not
everybody.
no.
Yeah. They want us to own nothing and be happy about it.
Right.
Yes.
And we need to buy property.
I noticed somebody put in there that they said we used to do a decorating allowance, or we do a paint allowance or a flooring allowance. That is not what we recommend at all, for a couple of different reasons. And a lot of people want to go to that because that's the easy, that way they go, well, I don't want to change my carpet out, because what if I pick a carpet that the buyer's not going to like? So let's just give a floor allowance. Well, there's three problems with that. First of all, you're already setting yourself up for the buyer walking into the house and the house needs improvements. So now the focus is on the flooring. Instead of just go ahead and putting a general type floor, you don't have to go high dollar. You just go neutral. It kind of makes it a moot point at that point. And then also the days of allowances are becoming trickier, because buyers, especially now with rates up, they might want to include their closing costs into their offer, right? And there's a maximum closing cost that they're allowed to have. So when a lender, unless it's a cash deal, when a lender sees something that comes through that says there's an allowance, if it can't be counted as a closing cost or a prepaid allowance, out. So if you've got, let's say you got a buyer that's got $10,000 in closing cost, $15,000 in flooring allowance, there's nowhere to hide that on the contract work.
Hey guys, what do you think about this? Aaron's taking a shot at it, and explain why you would disagree with him. Aaron says, I know that they're probably going to flinch at me for saying this, but I'm starting to think we need another bubble burst, drive investors and Chinese away from the market, and get the prices back to where the regular folks can afford them. Your response to that?
What guarantee is the Chinese going to go away if there's a bubble?
Yeah.
I don't understand why they would go away. And I don't think we need a burst. I think that home values are going to appreciate. They're going to appreciate at a slower pace. They might, stay still for a little while, but you're seeing other markets correct themselves. It's just not a bubble that's bursting. And I think a bubble bursting is something different to everybody.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah,
Kathy Hubbins. Yeah, go ahead, Kathy.
Continue to see prices go up. We'll have just little blips, but I don't see a bubble. There's just not enough inventory for that to happen.
Well, when you talk about inventory in the St. Louis metropolitan area, do you know where we are from an inventory standpoint right now, or the last time you checked?
We're still bringing on about 500 and something houses a week. And remember in the summer when we were talking, we were like, ooh, 600. Like that was great for summer. So now that we're in the fall and still seeing 500 new houses a week come on the market, that's pretty strong for fall.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that is really good. I'm surprised about that.
And people, if you have any questions, once again, Kathy Helbig-Strick, 314-276-SOLD, 314-276-SOLD. Once again, 314-276-SOLD. You can also catch up with Steve as well. New American Funding by Score Mortgage. Steve will take your call as well. If you have questions of any kind, you can give him a call at 314-374-0770. Guys, with your business with New Age Health Wellness, I was asked the other day, I had a question because I know you guys are rocking with it. Lizzie's loving it. When we've talked about, and Lizzie, are you taking the semaglutide, right?
I am.
Aren't you?
Yes. Yes.
I was asked this question, and you guys can explain it again if you want. It helps you, lose weight, drop some pounds. Once you start, if you come off of it, does something happen to your body?
Want me to take this one, hon?
I'm not on it, so yeah, go for it.
Yes.
She is.
Does it happen to your body? Can you gain weight back? Yes, you can if you don't change your eating habits. But what I have found is that over time, while you're on it, that it does start changing your thinking about food because you're not it takes away your hunger and it's lasting in your system a lot longer. So a lot of times what we're doing is we're eating out of habits. We're eating out of convenience or boredom, right? Yeah, time to eat. All right, it's craving.
I'm an emotional eater.
Yeah, most people are.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
And so even though in the beginning you still might trigger that, you go to try to eat something, you're just like, well, it's just like, I'm not hungry. So I don't want to keep shoving it in. So over time, that kind of breaks some of those habits or helps to break some of those habits. So what I really, really suggest is it's a great catapult to get you going and then really focus on changing your habits and improving your health and improving your mobility and all that to be able to then when you taper off of it, you'll have some healthier lifestyle changes that can maybe not have you rebound back. So, and there's also maintenance doses that you can go on and things like that as well.
Yeah. And of course, when we encourage people, if you're new to the show, when it comes to learning about everything, just like you would with your car, you get your engine checked out. You check out your engine by getting your blood work done. You find out what's happening.
Yes.
You're not going to find a better place to do that than with New Age Health Wellness. Once again, New Age, NEU, New Age, newagehealthwellness.com. You'll learn all kinds of things about your body when you get that blood work done, just like you did, Lizzie, from the standpoint that you did to know. You can guess. And of course, Steve and Kathy, we can guess how we are. Well, I feel this way or I feel that way. It might be this, but you don't know until you go get checked out. And we have so many people telling us that they're enjoying coming to you guys. I'm assuming the business continues to grow as word gets out.
Yes,
it is. It's growing quite a bit. We've had some events come up in the last week or so that we've been kind of attending. You're going to see more of that. We did go look at another location yesterday. So there will be 3 to 4 maybe pop up before June of next year.
That's exciting.
We are going to be serving as many people as we can. We're going to be helping as many people as we can. And look for New Age to be coming to a town near you.
Oh man, that's great.
That is awesome. That is really good news. And the one that I go to, of course, I will be switching out to the one closer to my house.
Sure.
It is, I've said it before on the show, it is a great environment to even be in. You think you're walking into a spa. But then when you go back there, it's true doctors' offices in a spa atmosphere. I'm very impressed. I love it. I would highly recommend it to anyone.
Yeah, and by the way, you just reminded Kathy and Steve, they're not the doctors. They're not taking your
Another thing I want to mention, guys, it's not just weight loss and it's not just
correct.
It's not just testosterone for men. There's all kinds of optimization that we can do for you. We have peptides, we have vitamin therapy, and a lot of ladies don't realize that testosterone is important for the ladies. So when you hear hormone or testosterone, you think about raging, workout heads. That is not at all what it is. Well, maybe a couple, but minus the raging.
I am a nice person.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. It really changed my world when I realized that I was tanked on testosterone, didn't even know that I was supposed to have testosterone. No one ever talked about that. So about 5 years ago was when I first started getting into, optimizing my hormones, and I started with testosterone. So that might be a really good jumping off point for a lot of the ladies, just to come in and get your blood work done, especially through the whole perimenopause, menopause, anything 30s and 40s. It can really, being on birth control pills for a long time can really have thrown off your hormone balance. So really highly recommend coming in and just getting it checked out. We send some people home and say, you know what, you're all look like you're pretty good. But most of the time there's some imbalances, and just a couple little tweaking can help you drop a few pounds, can help you sleep better, can help you have more focused thoughts, and a lot more energy as well. And I know almost every lady in their 40s that I talk to is all one of those things, or all of those things are on their list of just like, gosh, I'm not sleeping well, I'm putting on weight, and I'm eating better than I used to. Like, all of these things are usually hormone related. So definitely worth a consult.
Yes, I would highly recommend, even if you don't want to lose any weight at all, to go and get your blood drawn. It is so vast what you guys get. I couldn't believe the pages of everything that they checked out. And in most cases, it's cheaper than your insurance, because you might be able to go and get the blood drawn, but then you're going to get a bill afterwards anyway. And the bill for you guys is so reasonable for what was done. So I highly recommend, if you haven't had your blood drawn, to just find out what is going with you. I highly recommend that you go to New Age to do that, even if you don't want to lose weight. It's great.
Yeah, I agree with that, because you talked about the cost of getting your blood work done. We have all kinds of specials for new patients to come in and, get their blood work, $50, $100. I had to go to another place, another medical institute the other day to get blood drawn for something else. And I have insurance, and it was $200.
Whoa.
Yeah, it is. It's so expensive to have that done.
So I didn't even realize it, but that was, at least $50 more than us, sometimes $100 to $150.
I would agree. I know it would have been for me. And so I was very impressed. And they don't even do as much. They might just check for like, just are you low on D or potassium or whatever. New Age checks everything, literally everything.
Hey, Steve and Kathy, I don't know if you could see the question. It came from DRC. And
we do offer shots. But what was the question again, Vic?
This person said, I asked one of our naturopathic doctor friends if they did NAD and ALA shots and vitamin shots versus IV. So do you guys offer shots?
We do.
IV.
We do. Yes. So, almost all our vitamins come in the shot form. We do have NAD plus, which is a peptide, which we do have that in shot form. So all of our peptides come in shot form. And if you don't like the shot form, we do offer IVs as well for certain things. So
can you
try to appease everybody?
Real quick before we let you guys go, can you explain what a peptide is for the average person?
You can take that one.
So there are thousands of peptides. Yeah, there are thousands of peptides within our body naturally. So when we talk about peptides, it's basically recreating these protein chains that are within your body that are all set up with different equations. So, let's just say some are 3 chains long, some are 4 chains long, but they're made up of different things because they have different effects. Some promote hair growth, some promote strength of nails, some promote, bone density. There are all these different things that go into creating the human body. So what they've done is they've taken the popular peptides that most people need as they grow older, and they bottle them up. So we have a lot of those available, and depending on what you're needing or what you're wanting, we could probably find something that's going to make you feel better.
Okay. How often does somebody need to get NAD plus shot?
I take my NAD plus in a small dose daily.
Okay. There you go. Let's see. Anybody?
You can take it home. You don't have to come in every time for shots.
Oh, yeah.
And the vitamin shots as well. So we have about half of our people prefer to come in and have the nurse or the medical assistant inject. Other people just take a pack home, and then they have them at their house usually about once a week for the vitamin shots. You can do the skinny shots, which are a couple different vitamin B and some other things. You can do those up to 3 times a week. We have about half the people take them home. That way you don't have to run in every couple of days if you don't want to.
NewAgeHealthWellness.com. That's NEUAGE. NewAgeHealthWellness.com. Kathy Helbig-Strick, Steve Strick. What else is going on with you guys these days?
Can you say anything?
Is life all right?
Yeah.
Nope, we can't say.
Oh, we can't.
We got some top secret stuff. We got some
good.
top secret fun stuff, but we're under an NDA. So we can't talk about it just
We
yet.
leave
I'm so
today, this afternoon, for this thing about this thing. Yeah.
We got a
Thing?
thing about a thing.
I don't let my kids use that word even
I
in
want
high
to
school
know
and
about
college.
their thing. I want to know about your thing. I'm excited.
So good
You
news.
will. You will in the future.
I guess I'm glad I asked, because I probably would have said something, but we are under an NDA for right now, but that's okay.
That'll be
That's
fun.
awesome.
You will know. You will
You'll
find
know.
out.
I
You will
cannot
see
wait.
it.
I hope we're one of the first because I'm already sitting
Of
here so
course.
excited. Good.
Of course.
Good,
Okay.
good.
All right. Well, that's good news. Good way to lead on it. Enjoy your. Are you guys flying out somewhere?
We're driving.
No, we're driving.
Okay.
Good for you.
All right. Love you guys. Kathy, a big
Love you
Steve
guys.
All right.
Strick.
Love you guys.
Have an
Big
Big
awesome
train is
day.
going. Big
I know.
like,
We're like
what's
doing this. Like, what is this?
I know. I show my emotions.
cliffhanger.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, this is a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
All right. Have a great
Okay.
Wednesday, guys. We'll catch
Thank
up.
you.
See you guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
All righty. Love Kathy. Love Steve.
I love them
You're not going to
so
find
much.
anybody that knows more about the real estate industry and mortgage industry. You're just not.
Mm.
People can say it, but you're just not going to find anybody that's going to come on and give you this information and put it all out there. And whether you agree or disagree at certain times in life, they'll win you over. They just do.
Mhm.
And then when it comes to the new age health wellness, what a fantastic clinic. What a fantastic way that they do it. But keep in mind, you'll hear stories about clinics, as they've talked about, not taking blood, over injecting, not having a doctor prescribing it, not getting the best situation for you. That's not what they do at New Age. And you've witnessed that and experienced that firsthand.
Mhm.
Don't get caught up in hype. You can't always just put everybody into one group. No, there's people who do things the right way. There's
Mhm.
people who do things the wrong way. And New Age is certainly doing well. And that's why they're growing
doing
and
great.
expanding.
And if I didn't know them personally, I would never have gone to do that just because I just never wanted to, never thought about it. But I really like them very much so personally. And they're just so honest, good, bad, or indifferent. We all hear this on Wednesdays about real estate. They're not coming in here every day and acting like everything's all peaches and cream. They tell the truth.
No, they do. And we're grateful for Complete Auto Body Repair, sponsor of our show, advertiser of our show. They've got 7 clinics or 7 facilities throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area. Climate controlled, by the way, for technicians, because they're hiring lots of job for technicians. Literally, you give them a call. Let them know you heard about them from Cancel This. They'll take care of you. Sandy Travis will take care of you. They've got sales jobs. They've got tow truck jobs. They've got several kinds of jobs. Their department is massive. They're a massive organization, and that's why they need lots of good people. And they believe in family there, and that's why they take care of you and their employees. The other thing about that is the fact that they do a damn good job with your car. Anything that your vehicle needs, literally, as I like to say, A to Z, give them a try. If there's something that's going on with the vehicle, they're going to let you know what you need. If they're not the perfect people for you, they're going to let you know. We have lots of experiences of that happening. So check out CompleteAB.com. Of course, we just did our Experience Realty segment with Kathy Helbig-Strick, Steve Strick, 314-276-SOLD. You can give them a call to find out anything when it comes to your real estate investments. Vehicle Protection Group, auto warranty company, Vehicle Protection Group. If you're looking for a job, they're looking for you. They've got some positions. They're trying to get more people. Todd at vpcnetwork.com. Once again, that's Todd at vpcnetwork.com. They're top people making 6 figures a year. You answer inbound calls, people looking for auto warranties. You help them. You explain the situations. You tell them what they need, what they could get, how they could help their individual situation. They get their warranty. You make money. They're looking for a couple people. They have 2 different shifts right now. They train you in about 2 weeks. And that's Todd at vpcnetwork.com. Let them know as well that you heard about it at cancelthisshow.com. All right. We're grateful. It is Cancel This, that you're a listener, that you watch us, that you join us. Also want to let you know about our merchandise site. You can go to cancelthisshow.com. You go to our front page, and in the upper right-hand corner, there is a merch button. You click on the merch button, and you can check out our merchandise. A lot of different hats. That's a very popular one right there right now that we were showing with the American flag on the back, with Cancel This on the front. We've got cups. Tons of cups. Tons of t-shirts. We got a coffee coming that we'll be putting on there as well, an organic coffee that you support us when you purchase that as well. I haven't had it. I'm told that Once I drink this stuff, I'm going to be a coffee snob, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, it's coming. It's coming.
But all kinds of merchandise. You support us as well. Plus, you get some really cool merch as well, including the ponytail hat that Lizzie insisted be on the website. So
I did insist on. I wore it yesterday, and I love it.
that's it. CancelThisShow.com. Really cool hat. Yeah, that is. I love that thing.
It is. And women in particular love those ponytail hats, and they like the distressed look. And not all of them have that cute crisscross on the back, but Derek made sure it even had the crisscross and all of that. And speaking of Derek, several people on the chat lines were saying he's very responsive. And so Derek
local
is very
delivery, local pickup, excuse me, not local delivery, local pickup.
Yes. And if you don't live around here, which more than half of our listeners don't, you can have it, shipped to you, which is great.
New shirts, new decals, and the coffee is coming soon. That to our website. You can check that out at cancelthisshow.com. All right, I'm Vic Faust with Lizzie Sparks, Projo in the house as well. We've been talking a lot about when it comes to schools, when it comes to kids, just teaching them math, reading, science, gym, whatever, not getting into the social issues. A school place is not a place for social freaking issues. It's just not. I'm sorry. Are they there? Do people deal with things? Sometimes, yeah, you deal with it. But the last thing kids need to be worried about, the last thing boards of education need to be worried about are third bathrooms for transgenders or allowing people who are biologically male go into girl bathrooms. And if these things are happening, you need to be speaking to the parents.
Correct.
Public schools, and even though my kids they went to a private high school, and we did it from a faith standpoint at first, from a Catholic standpoint, then another reason for my third child. Public schools are important. We need public schools. We need public school teachers and administrators to be the best that they can be. The last thing we need are people on boards of education to intimidate, to make people who have been elected to the board feel as if they bring up, let's say, issues that they don't agree with, that something bad is going to happen to them and that they shouldn't be on the board, to make them feel like they need to get off the board if they're not in unison, let's say, with a hardcore left-leaning liberal agenda. These are happening. These stories are happening across the country. For whatever reason, in the Missouri area, Wentzville, Missouri, it has all of a sudden become a lightning rod for individuals who are trying to make a name for themselves, trying to dictate what kids are going to do without any parental consent, without any parental knowledge. Well, you need people to report these stories. Attorney General Andrew Bailey has said, at least in the state of Missouri, and this is why we need attorney generals across the country to do this, to not sit back, to not endanger kids. He said, let us know, let our office know. Well, somebody from Wentzville reached out to Andrew Bailey to let him know what school board members were doing, or at least one school board member in Wentzville, when it came to bathrooms and transgenders. And you have a situation now where the attorney general has filed suit against the Board of Education in Wentzville because there are examples and evidence of at least one board member saying we don't need to tell the parents anything.
Correct. That board member was caught. The board is split in half. 3 basically that want the parents to not know about anything going on, and 3 of the newer ones that, regardless of what their political bent is, they want transparency. And so there was definitely 3 whistleblowers, not necessarily school board members, that called this out and went to Andrew Bailey to get help. And Andrew Bailey is helping.
The problem that you have with this, there are legitimately people trying to keep this information from parents.
Correct.
The Rockwood School District brought this to light about 3 years ago, when you had teachers in email saying, we're not going to tell the teachers, or we're not going to tell the families about this CRT that we're teaching. They don't need to know. We all know that's bullshit. And you have people, and then we've had several politicians, including Kamala Harris, say these are our kids. No, they're not your kids. They're parents' kids.
Correct.
You don't own these kids.
Mhm.
And parents have to have a say. They have to have a say, or at least know what's happening. So this lawsuit that Bailey has filed, it came after two new board members, Renee Hinkey and Jennifer Olson, filed a complaint against the board
Mhm.
for not adhering to the Missouri, and this is big stuff, Missouri's open meeting law. There's a law, open meetings law. So this debate, allegedly, and we were told about this
Yes.
here at Cancel This.
We were.
These debates were happening over the summer, and it was all about them considering a new policy to allow transgender students to access bathrooms that align with their liking.
Mhm.
I don't even say a gender identity. It's what bathroom they want to go into,
Correct. And in Wentzville,
as opposed to their sex.
correct. And it's not necessarily a rampant problem. They are literally catering to like the 1%. And this was
Correct.
really only happening at one of the high schools. But girls were going into the bathroom and there was a guy in there with them. And this isn't just rumor. This is a fact that was happening. And so some kids were letting it go by and parents weren't knowing, and the school board was trying to hide it. And it was because this guy is just one of the girls. So it's okay that this guy that's now just one of the girls that can go, whip his pants open and have different anatomy right in front of the girls. Right in front.
Thank you for this is a serious subject, and
it is
you didn't
serious.
make a joke about it.
Well, I'm not trying to make a joke. It's the truth. I mean, think about
Renee,
it. Vic.
I give a lot of credit to Renee Hinkey,
Yes,
and Jennifer Olson in the state of Missouri.
My finger was on the button.
Yeah, I know. I see it.
Well, I wasn't even trying to be funny.
I
You got to get the picture for people who don't understand this. I have 4 daughters, and I would not allow my son to go in there with his different anatomy.
I'm glad you said with his different anatomy.
Effort, right.
Renee Hinkey and Jennifer Olson, that took a lot of, I was waiting for the drop.
Balls. A lot of balls. It did. They had big cojones to go do this because
they care.
They do care.
They're not getting rich doing this job. I just have a lot of respect for Renee and Jennifer for doing this.
They get nothing but aggravation.
So they made a complaint. Then Bailey and his team, and he just doesn't lose.
No,
he doesn't lose. He doesn't. Like Eric Schmidt. He took to Twitter on Tuesday to make the case for the suit. Now, he said that's in direct violation of this Missouri law. So they filed a lawsuit against the Wentzville School Board for their, quote, deliberate secrecy. Why are they trying to be secret?
Yes.
With your kids. And if you don't think it's happening in certain school districts, think again, just because you haven't heard about it, which is why you should be asking questions, thinking about who is on these school boards now. You never would have thought that a school board election, I'm just being honest, I'm not trying to be negative about this or callous. I mean, how many people are like, oh man, the school board's so important in the past, this vote. People haven't. Now, all of a sudden, they've become massively important. In the last 5 years, those school board elections are super, super, super important. So he said the secrecy and inability to follow even the most basic open meetings procedure. This happens when people feel entitled. Well, we're entitled to do whatever we want. We are teachers. We're a school board. We know what's best for the kids, not you. So Bailey tweeted that out. He also followed up by stating, parents have a right to know who is in the bathroom with their kids. We filed suit against Wentzville School District Board of Education for concealing a transgender student bathroom usage policy, which, by the way, is in direct violation of Missouri's open meetings law. The only way things can change is if people speak up. We started our show talking about this. You can't be worried about what people are going to think or say. And most of the time, people don't care. As humans, sometimes we think, oh, are they looking at us, or are they going to be worried about what I did? Most people don't care. They have their own things going on in life.
Correct.
But we start to think that sometimes maybe our own situation may be like the point of it. No, it's not. People don't care. They're doing their own thing. You have to be willing to stand up, as these two board members did, and talk about what's happening. That's how this went down with Bailey, and Bailey's going to win. They're in direct violation.
Correct. They are.
But for whatever reason, those stories continue to happen in Wentzville, where you have people trying to dictate to kids, trying to hide from parents.
Correct.
And of course, it happened at Rockwood a few years ago, and you had to stand up and get people and parents involved. The sad thing with Rockwood was there was a situation where the parents were upset, but then I was told that a lot of parents just went back to being the same way they were before it.
Yes.
And when it came to the elections, they didn't win a majority of the student school board. You had people with like-minded ideas for having transgender bathrooms and all this other nonsense in these schools, that parents went out and voted for the same kind of people.
Correct. Well, and like Jay is saying, yank your kids out of the school and that will get their attention. And I think he's right there. A lot of parents in Wentzville School District and school districts like Wentzville moved from city schools, moved from county schools, moved really far wherever the direction is that you live, where your town is. And I know Wentzville is one. Our family, one of them, moved way out there to go to that school district. And I was flabbergasted at what was going on and what at that time had considered to be rural, that I did yank my kids out.
I just don't know how easy it is for multiple parents to yank their kids out of school.
It isn't. We were fortunate enough that I have a husband and I that we were like, we will sit there and eat rice and beans every day in order for my kids not to have to deal with that. But there's a lot of families that don't feel that same way as I do, and they want to keep their kids there. But that's the good thing, that finally, I mean, this has been going on for a decade, all of this stuff, probably 15 years sneaking into Wentzville, but it took the school board members. And even though my kids don't live or don't go there, I live in that district. I had signs in my yard. I helped because I don't want to be surrounded by that thought pattern. It's not right. And most parents, you had just said this, they'll fight for a little while. And then when it doesn't pertain to them anymore, because their kids don't go there, or they don't want to deal with it anymore, they stop. And then the filth goes right back into the schools.
Well, that's a good point, whether parents are there or not. Yeah, I have a friend that says, I don't care what's happening. I'm going to be dead anyway.
Right. My father-in-law said
I'm going to be dead, whatever. I'm going to get what I can while I'm here, whatever.
Correct. And that's wrong, because no matter how old you get, there is future generations you should care about, especially if you ever had any kids, or if you don't, you have nieces and nephews or whatever. You can't stop caring, even if you're gone. That's the whole point of living, is leaving a legacy for people that their life is still good.
And be careful with the kind of private school that you go to as well.
Absolutely.
Derek brings up a point. Just because it's private doesn't mean that you're not going to deal with certain situations. Or in some cases, maybe most cases, I think it would be more difficult there because they are private and they're not getting money from the state. I don't know if they would fall under the open meetings law or not because they're private. So you need to know what kind of school you're going into from the start and ask those questions, ask those situations and those things that are going on. Jay says this is why lots and lots are going to homeschooling.
Correct.
Co-ops. Yeah, I mean, there are, but what is a lot in grand scheme? There may be more people than ever doing it.
Yeah, more people than ever.
But still, I'm not sure if it's, quote, a lot, because we're put into situations and we're molded. Oh, you go to school, you play sports here at school, you do this, you have your homecoming dances, and then there's co-ops. Yes, you can go to school sometime and then at home some of the time. I looked at it when I moved to Missouri, 8 years ago. We looked at a co-op homeschooling situation because we couldn't find the perfect Catholic school, believe it or not, in the St. Louis area.
Right. And there's a lot
that we
of
had
Catholic schools.
But that by name.
But you're right, by name. You can go and you can walk in the Catholic.
You've heard of rhinos? Well, there's also something that I called the
Catholic.
The chinos.
Yeah, the chinos. There's a lot of chinos.
I looked at some of but I still wasn't impressed. And it wasn't very good 8 years ago when it came to the homeschooling situations that they had in Michigan. But I hope that it's getting better. But you have to know who you're voting in. Correct. And you'll know, look at who they are in your individual school districts across the country. Look who's running. Look at their bio, where they went to school, what their job is. You'll find out pretty damn quickly. Jeannie says Wentzville is woke as hell. Sorry if you live there.
No, she's right. I live in the Wentzville school district, and it is woke as hell. It's this.
Okay, let me explain this for our national audience. You're talking in Missouri, a red state. You're talking in St. Charles County, a predominantly red state. This isn't some thriving metropolis. Now, Wentzville has grown. At one point in the last few years, it was one of the fastest growing towns, cities, whatever you want to call it in the country. But you're talking hardcore right-leaning
100%.
Republican area. So when you say Wentzville is woke, you mean school board members?
No, not even all the school board members. The superintendent. It started with the superintendent that they hired to go in there, and he made it very woke. And it was a little bit woke before, but what is happening is these outliers, as I call them, move into this area. And the Wentzville School District is very vast. It covers, yes, Wentzville, but it also covers part of Dardine Prairie, unincorporated county, O'Fallon, that sort of thing. And teachers, not just at Wentzville, anywhere you go now are more left than they've ever been. The principals are more left than they've ever been. And parents we're not understanding that. They just thought that reading, writing, arithmetic, and the farther, you left the city, the better it is. Because it's true. You go out to Wentzville's Walmart and you still think you might be in country. There's the pickup trucks, the American flags. They've got just one of the best mayors that you could possibly have. Almost everybody there is good. And I'm not even going to talk about their politics, but very Americana, love their police officers, love their military and all of that. But that's the towns that they're coming for. And what I mean by I am talking about the left agenda, the Marxist Nazi agenda. I'm going to go that far and say that because they're bringing in critical race theory. Wentzville has critical race theory. And I've said this before. I have a friend that used to be a principal at one of the high schools out there, and she chastised my kid for wanting to talk about "Don't Tread on Me." She's like, that's racist. That was a principal there. So that's what you got there. In most schools.
I don't know if more teachers are left-leaning now than they've been in the past. I don't know. But what I do know is this. I spoke to a woman who's getting ready to retire, and she was more down the middle. But she said what you have is you have more fear.
Yes. That's bullseye.
Teachers are afraid
to speak
There's
up.
School board members who are afraid. And then all it
Yes.
takes is one superintendent like this guy or like the superintendent in Wentzville.
Yes.
And then if there's a quote culture started,
Yes.
you don't want to upset the apple cart. You don't want to rock the boat. You don't want to cause any issues because you just want to go and get a check and try to help kids. You're not getting paid a lot as it is, and you don't want the drama that goes along with it.
Well, and you're right about that because I taught many years ago when I started in the late 80s, early 90s. The first thing I was met at my little kindergarten door was the union president and the person that was in charge of DESE at the time wanting me to sign up right away. And if I didn't, and I didn't, there was two that you could sign up. The big one involved with NEA. And when I saw that they were backing pro-choice things, they tried to browbeat me. And I still didn't do it. So, I mean, as a young teacher, you're conditioned from very early on to follow the way.
But that's why I said, I don't know if there's more of those teachers that are left when my friend explained this to me. And then said that if you do speak up and go against, then all of a sudden you're shunned because once again, as we started this show with, people are afraid.
Correct.
Like, oh my God, if I say something, what's going to happen? But they don't realize that when they do say something, they're in the minority most of the time. They're in the minority because believe it or not, people have a brain. They're like, wait a second, this is wrong. Guys should not be going into the girls' bathrooms. But society has tried to teach us and show us that, oh, well, let's think about this. Let's break this down. Even though you know in your head at first, no, that's not right. But then you have people, well, no, let's have a conversation about this. And let's think, no. That's the problem. That's the evil. That's the devil of the whole situation.
Yes. Now you have a vagina. My mouth didn't move, but I said that apparently. But it's, there you go.
But if you do say something and are willing and you need leaders, it doesn't mean something's wrong. It's just people are being leaders and they care.
They do.
And teach, not indoctrinate.
Correct. And most teachers have a heart of gold, whether you're left or right. They do. They want to educate teachers. You've got a few wingdings, but most of them are really caring individuals. The problem is the left to your point, is so emboldened now that you can say, oh, I hate Donald Trump, or, oh my gosh, you're just a fascist if you don't let, Jolene go into the bathroom that was really Joe. I mean, and then the right-wing teachers have to be quiet.
Well, our sales person, Crystal Mathena, is on the line, or on the chat line. And let's see. Oh, no, it was Lisa. Said, reach out to Rockwood Summit School Board member, Izzy Imig.
Yes. And I've talked to Izzy on several occasions, and she's a rock star.
She will tell you about the tactics used to try to keep her off the board.
100%.
These are the things that happen. That's why you can't take anything for granted. Now, yes, it has reached your public schools. And I have found that, especially out in Rockwood, because I knew parents, I know parents that were more conservative than not, and they're just so busy, and they're just oh, everything's going to be fine. I just want my kids to be good. Don't be mean to people. Well, while you have that attitude, yes, that's great. And then kids are going to be forced to do this and to do that. And before you know it, in 4 or 5 years, your kids have returned from college a different person because they didn't have the upbringing and the strength and the backbone and the solid foundation from a moral standpoint to withstand the storm that came through. And then you're like, what the just happened?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, no, they're just going through this life thing. And no, that's what happens. That's why all of this is so important now.
It is. It's so important. And parents do have to just not sit back. And you're right. We are busy. We parents are busy. We've got other things that we could be doing. But you have to also then do it at home, not just talk about the schools. You have to tell your kids the hard stuff. You have to tell them, when you go to school, I want you to have fun, and I want you to learn, and I want you to do athletics and drama and whatever. But understand this could happen to you there, and you can't go along with
constantly, even my last child, and I've taught the first two, and they've been pretty good in regards to respect, discipline, integrity, honesty. And then my faith standpoint is that's a separate deal. I mean, it is who you are, but if you're acting in that way and remembering as if you're living for God, not yourself, other things should be falling into place. But I teach, and even with my last child now too, and when we spend time, he's like, I know, Dad, I know. And even though he's a sophomore, I do whatever I can too, just on top of it. Not that people have to do this, but to make a point that every day he's with me, that we're praying together too.
Yes, that's huge.
And
these days.
Just so that we not only have that bond as a father and a son, but also from a standpoint of where you are as a human and understanding where you got your life from.
Correct.
Because you either believe that we came from nothing. It's either nothing or God, and not to get off.
That's
and
right.
And it's pretty. And science is on intelligent design, not just poof out of nowhere. So it is important to have these conversations with your kids, and then do what you can at the school district level. If there are fights that you can't win, you have to fight with your kids, strengthening them up to withstand the storms that they're going to deal with in these public schools. And from these, and then you just hope and pray somehow, some way, they do get good teachers, and that these teachers who think that they're doing well, but they're not, because they're worried about feelings and not worried about the other side. Because when people are talking feelings, they're not worried about the fundamentals. And when feelings are over fundamentals, you have a problem. Just like in any relationship, the feelings feel good in a relationship, but you have no relationship unless you have truth.
Yes.
The first thing you have to have in a relationship is truth. And if you don't have truth, the feelings won't last. Those are gone. And that's what we're seeing in our schools right now.
Well, you know what? I'm very excited because I'm always asking for someone who doesn't agree with us to get on here. And so Roberta Schultz just is saying to you and I, Boulder Dash, I'm far from Missouri, never lived there, but my aunt worked as a caseworker in a very small, very intolerant town in Lincoln County. And for any of you guys who are not from here, it's an area far from St. Louis, a good hour, and it's more rural. And it says, I know what you people are like, disgusting, very non-Christian attitude, no thanks.
That's fine.
That is fine. But that's
entitled
what
to your opinion.
Absolutely. And I was glad.
Thank you for sharing it.
I was
talking about a town in rural up Lincoln County.
Yes, that's judgmental. And yes, and
Interesting.
I thought that was interesting too, because I know a lot of people who live in that area too, and I haven't found them to be judgmental or mean. Some might be, I don't know, but
Everybody has their own experiences.
they do. They
And,
do.
you know, you may think somebody's a nice person, but they may have been unkind to me, so I don't think that they're a nice person.
Well,
Yeah.
Lincoln County's my neck of the woods, and I'm very judgmental. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a joke, guys, because Joe is
You're
not
allowed to be judgmental.
But it's like,
Damn non-Lincoln County people.
Well, and we've got Lincoln County people answering too right now.
Try that in a small town.
Yeah, try that in a small town, Roberta. Anyway, so Sasha, she says she lives in Troy, which is in Lincoln County, and that's just not true here. And then Lisa says Boulder Dash, I haven't heard that in a while, like over a decade. And then Aaron, I love what he said, you people. And that is interesting when somebody does say you people. What is that supposed to mean? You people. That's lumping everybody in one category in one town. There you go. He or she can put that in her pipe and smoke it. That's what I say. But I am glad. I really do like people who don't agree with us to get on here, especially I applaud Roberta for that, because most people that are left wing, and I'm not saying like Democrats or whatever, will not come on here and debate us. And I would love Roberta to come on and debate us. So Roberta, that is an invitation. If you would like to video chat in at any time to tell us the experiences of you people, I want to hear from you. Balls.
This is cancelthisshow.com. That's Lizzie Sparks. I'm Vic Faust, Pro Joe in the house as well. It's, you know, everybody is entitled to their damn opinion. Aaron says Roberta is an alias for Drew. Drew is a Democrat. Drew used to be on the show, but he was calling for murder. Was that what it was? Or
Yeah,
murder?
yeah, because we would keep him on for a long time, because I don't mind if people disagree with us at all. But he was basically saying things that it was good.
Well, I know he listens to the show because he messages me constantly.
Yes. Well, I mean,
we're still living rent free.
Yes. I can't put him back on. I am the one. This is the only person ever in any time that I've been on affiliated with any show that I've ever just blocked anyone. This is the only person, but it was because he wouldn't stop talking about what should be done, graphically murdering someone and some people. And, you know, everyone on our chat line had had enough. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. You know, I mean, and I would put him back on, but you can't, because he was talking about murdering and it was a good thing.
But the only reason I brought the name up was the fact that somebody says that it's Drew in disguise. But whatever.
It could be.
I don't want to localize it so much to the point where we're giving that person so much attention. But whatever. People have their experiences, whatever they're dealing with in life. Where you go. It is you know, it's just bad. I had to say this again really quick, and then a little bit of a better time. Fox News had this story a couple days ago. 23 Baltimore public schools, 0 students proficient in math. 0 students proficient in math. And yet Maryland somehow, some way ranks in the top 2 in a new study for education. So once again, I always say, be careful when you look at polling, see who's doing it.
Right.
Maryland was ranked the 2nd most educated state in the country. Maybe it's the rest of Maryland is so good, but Baltimore is so bad because of what came out. It's interesting because that whole study, I was trying to find out and go down the list, the most educated states. And it's so funny because the most educated states are all blue states.
Oh my gosh.
Massachusetts, number 1, Maryland, number 2, Connecticut, 3, Vermont, 4, Colorado, 5, New Jersey, 6, Virginia, maybe 7, New Hampshire, 8, Minnesota, 9, Utah, 10. Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And
Very.
this is just one study from Wallet Hub, compared 50 states across 18 metrics.
Mhm.
Key factors of a well-educated population. So it included educational attainment, school quality, and achievement gaps between genders and races. So once again, it's not always, it means that it's the best school. There's a lot of different factors that get played into that too. So you can look at it and see what you have and what people are trying to decide. So anyway, I wanted to get that into the mix as well. We may be talking with Greenlight Dispensary. We'll see if and when they are coming in from that standpoint. In the meantime, I know a lot of talk happened, and this is funny because Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift.
Mhm.
Yes, Travis Kelce is with Taylor Swift. We've talked about that. He's also doing commercials for Pfizer.
Yeah, we hit that pretty hard.
I thought this
yesterday.
is one of the best memes I have ever seen. I started laughing because I was like, oh my God, that's so true. We popped this up for you and we have some fun with it. Travis Kelce on this picture. Here you go.
And you got to read the headline.
Either way, so there's a picture of Travis showing his his Pfizer shot, then another side picture of him with Taylor Swift. I'm talking to our audio audience, our video audience can see it. The headline says, either way, this dude is getting his heart broken.
Boom. That was pretty good. Oh my gosh, that is good. And Danielle goes, damn. That was that is so funny. And
And I
like
knew-
Shay saying, she doesn't understand why people are so obsessed with these
No,
two.
it's
And
just funny.
I agree. It is funny. Yesterday we even
I'll
played
explain
one.
in a second why it's really important. Well, I can
Okay.
do it now too.
Explain it.
Here,
Explain it.
Shay, and it's hot right now. It won't be.
Won't be tomorrow.
But Travis Kelce's jersey sales went up 400%.
Oh, wow.
He went up to the ratings for the Chiefs game throughout the game went massively high. Female audience all of a sudden went high once there was word that Taylor Swift was there. That's why, because they're pop icons.
Right.
That's why. And of course, Sasha says it can be a distraction. I just thought it was funny because it brought us into the whole cupcake situation.
Mhm.
Where and Taylor Swift. I just thought it was funny, trying to give us a little levity here. Just smile a little bit because it's been a hardcore show so far.
Boy, it has. It has. And we haven't even gotten into bits and pretzels either.
What do you mean?
You don't know about bits and pretzels?
What the hell are you talking about? What's going on?
That's Michelle Michael Obama. We haven't even gotten into
I
that.
know, that's
in
where I
her
was headed.
conference. Yeah.
Bits and
Yeah, that was where she was at. That was the actual conference. It was called Bits and Pretzels. In Munich. That's the name of the conference. I mean, I like bits and pretzels. I want to eat pretzels, but that's not what this was about.
I guess you got me thinking about trail mix now.
I know.
I was thinking about something else.
Uh-huh.
I thought you were talking about some sex
Balls.
thing with bits and tits or something. I didn't know.
I was not. Well,
Michelle Obama at the Bits and Tits conference in Germany.
Take off the bits and pretzels.
now you have a vagina. For sure. Because think about it. Who goes to, okay, I wouldn't mind going to a Bits and Pretzels if it was like you take your pretzels and you can dip them in different dip, but that's not what she was doing. He was doing there.
Aaron says, "What will break his heart first? The oh oh no!
Oh my God, you probably can't even say that on air. You can't even say that on
Aaron,
air.
you
but
got
it's
me
pretty
laughing,
funny. We
buddy.
could say it on air. We're not going to get canceled for it, but I'm just not going to say that word. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! And Aaron's on a roll. Twig and Berries conference.
Yeah, that's where Michelle would be.
Uh-huh. Yep. Instead of the bits and
Sounds like the
pretzels.
weed segment already started. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Michelle Obama. I always like to show a picture of Michelle.
Okay,
Michael.
good old Michael.
Michelle.
Michelle.
Did a speaking engagement in Germany this week.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he did.
Why?
Although his nails are on point. I mean, they look
Balls.
pretty good. Look at that.
Still waiting for pregnant pictures of Michelle, legitimate pregnant pictures.
There isn't any.
We can keep her up, or what? Michelle. I only call him Michael because that's what Obama called her, and Obama's the
More than
husband.
once. Yeah.
That's the only reason I call it Michael.
Mm-hmm.
Michael did this conference in Germany and got paid $750,000
Yes.
for an hour talk.
That's unreal.
$750,000 for an hour talk.
And yet we talk about Obama is talking in the ear. They get more money than even Joe Biden's son did that we were talking about from China. So that tells you everything you need to know who's the big boss here. Who's the most
Can you tell me?
corrupt.
Can you look up the bits and
Pretzels in Munich? Yeah.
what the hell? What conference was?
Yes,
Now
I
I want to
can.
call it the Bits and Tits Conference. I'm sorry, it just sounds. Robert, my point exactly. We are a live podcast. We appreciate everybody jumping in on it. CancelTheShow.com. You can find your platform viewing or audio after the show is live. Robert says something else behind the scenes. That's what I thought.
For sure. You know that, Rob.
Something's going on, some sort of payments going on, just like the Hunter Biden artwork where a massive Democratic donor paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for some of that.
Well, you know what? And this is what it's saying, that the former Michelle Obama, the former first lady, she walked away with the $750,000. And the 1 hour speech, get a load of this, if you guys haven't already heard this, is on diversity inclusion.
Okay,
Come
DEI,
on now.
diversity
DEI.
inclusion.
And there was 5,000 attendees on how to push past self-doubt while discussing the importance of inclusivity and diversity at the annual Bits and Pretzels Forum in Munich, a startup event, get a load of that, keyword, startup event held on the sidelines of the annual Oktoberfest beer festival, according to the event's website. And for her speech, she was paid, which, was in American dollars, roughly $741,000. But here is the interesting thing, by two unidentified sources close to the conference organizers. So they don't even know exactly who paid. And the organizers told the outlet that the former First Lady topped the list of people whom participants wanted to hear from year after year after year. And they really pulled out all the stops to get her. It's one of the highest paced fees that has ever been paid. In fact, this figure is nearly double what her former colleague, Joe Biden, makes in 1 year as president.
I mean,
you can't make this stuff up.
More than what he makes from a salary.
Right, as a president, not from what he gets
that we
to
know,
his house.
Yeah,
from China and Ukraine and all the other payouts he gets. I mean, that is ludicrous. That's ridiculous. And we're not going to ever find out who the unidentified sources.
First campaign donation.
Absolutely. I think that's correct. I do. It almost leaves you speechless that this is playing out right in front of our face, that Michael Michelle is a dude, is a lady, is whatever, and is now gets paid $750,000 for the Bits and Pretzels Festival. Come on now, about DEI and all of that. And think about, do they not have any shame in taking that money when they know there's homeless people and there's people that needs help and we need to give to everybody, and there's poor children in Africa and there's poor people in the inner city, and yet Michael Michelle takes this amount of money, as they always do. I mean, if that doesn't show you how corrupt and evil and non-thinking they are about anyone else but themselves and keeping their corruption going, that'll tell it to you. Bits and Pretzels. Put that in your Bits and Pretzels.
$750,000.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, yeah, she hasn't run for anything. She's not announced for anything, but you go to Germany to get a $750,000 payment to talk on DEI.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on now. And now, and I would love for, somebody to go up to your liberal friend and go, who are the donors? In their opinion.
Nobody cares in Germany.
Well, no, they don't. No, they don't care in Germany, because Germany is as woke as they get, and it has been for years. But I would like to ask your liberal friends, everybody today that's listening, about the Bits and Pretzels, and ask them, who do they think the two identified donors are? I'd love to know who liberals think that is and how they justify that.
Yeah, Nazis,
right? Nazis.
That that would certainly make sense from that standpoint.
Absolutely.
It's also interesting. Another story as we were coming through on this, when it comes to people trying to go overly woke. Okay, the Washington Commanders are a NFL professional football team. They used to be the Redskins. Well, people try to go woke. The NFL forced the Redskins to change the name of Redskins, even though Redskins were against them changing the name. They said no. So the Commanders became the new team. They took off, they took off the Redskin name.
Oh my.
But now you have, and this is very interesting, a situation going on where a group is now suing the NFL, saying that the Redskin, the guy on the helmet, was actually a living human being, and that the name should come back, that they're misrepresenting this man. So the Native American group has filed a lawsuit against the Commanders over fake, because they said that they're promoting fake. They said that they want the team to revert its name to the Redskins title. They said it was fake. So the Native American Guardians Association filed the defamation lawsuit in North Dakota. And it's interesting because when you look about this, and this is what it all gets into, people like, when people try to go woke, all this stuff happens. So they said that this coordinated effort by the Commanders to defame NAGA, N-A-G-A, in their attempt of cancel culture meets the legal requirements of defamation, among other damages. That's the group's attorney. They said, given the Commanders are an NFL team with an extensive resource base, a basic Google search that anyone can perform proves that NAGA is in fact a legitimate entity. The Commanders' alleged intent to defame and slander them is actionable, and we're thankful for whistleblowers that have come forward to do this. Okay, so they say that the guy's picture is actually that he was a chief, and they want the name to come back. So they're filing a lawsuit, and we'll see where it goes with the NFL. I mean, I don't know.
Here's my problem with all this. Because eventually we're going to get rid of all the ethnic icons that we grew up with.
Right.
And we're going to be left with this. Here, check this out.
What do you got for us?
We're going to be left with something not good.
Only white characters on everything. Now, what's that going to send?
Correct.
What kind of message is that going to send
Correct.
to future generations?
I agree, because Aunt Jemima being gone, Aunt Jemima's family didn't want her gone. And you're right. Now we're just going to have some Quaker Oats stewed on everything, because they're taking anybody of any color because it's offensive. Who's it offending? Most Black people I know liked Aunt Jemima and wanted Aunt Jemima.
Right.
And so in my house, we had Aunt Jemima, and we put a picture. Actually, we didn't. My daughter put a picture of our granddaughter as the new Aunt Jemima, because we have no problems with it. No problems with it at all.
I just don't get it. It's like we're wiping out all, even if they consider it a bad, image or whatever, we're getting rid of all ethnic images on labeling.
Correct.
Yeah. And who's getting offended? I'm just telling you that the Native American community, the Redskins,
yes,
they were not offended. They're offended that they're not getting their say now, their due, their respect.
Correct. It's just said, and you know who's doing this. You guys know who's doing this. It is primarily leftist white people. It's Democrat white people. It's, for the most part, it's not Black people even doing this. It's these virtuous, liberal, white privileged white people. That's who's doing it. And that's so bizarre to me. And that's where the Black community has to wake up, because who's hurting you is not your own culture. It's not white people. It is left white people. That's who it is. It's bizarre. And I think more and more Black people are waking up to understand that, because it's not Black people doing this, or Indians.
Well,
you know what we need to do? We need to go up to every white liberal and go, wake up, and just shake them today.
It's also in liberal DC.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
You don't see the Kansas City Chiefs anytime soon getting rid of the chop or the Chiefs logo, do you? Hell effing no. You don't see the Atlanta Braves anytime soon getting rid of their tomahawk chop.
Good point.
And their Atlanta Braves, do you? Hell no. You don't see Florida State University and their Seminole and a guy riding a horse and coming into the stadium and throwing his spear down and their tomahawk chop going anywhere anytime soon, do you? No. It's wherever certain individuals can do what they need. And unfortunately, the NFL is woke, just like the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really bad stuff. So where you can go, quote, get a victory or try to make a name for yourself. By the way, activist, that's how you climb the tree, climb the ladder. You go and take something down.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what was that?
I don't know.
Okay, so this is Lizzie's answer to
Oh no, I'm afraid.
this is how Lizzie wants to deal with the woke left right here. Hold on, if I can get this pulled up. There we go.
Gotta get out of here. I've got to get out of here. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself. Please, let me handle this.
Calm down. Now get back to your seat. I'll take care of this. Calm down.
The movie Airplane, one of the best movies ever.
I do. I would love to handle
one
it
of
that
the
way.
best scenes ever.
Love it. Oh my gosh, that would be a great way to handle it. I would kind of like that.
Yep, that's funny.
Uh-huh.
Funny
That is
stuff.
good. That is really good stuff.
Tomorrow, we may have a couple different guests in. Nicole Jenkins may join us. We've got to see. There's just so much that's happening, so much that's going on. By the way, Kelly Mano had a little surgery, so she's like, if she's feeling better, she's going to be in on Friday. Wants to come in and talk about her Comic-Con.
I can't wait.
We'll have Eric Johnson coming in. What are you laughing about, Projo?
Just I pulled up that clip just to kind of see if that's where it was, and it started, and she was making
And
that
sure
noise.
enough.
You're like, what was that?
What
I
was
could only
that?
imagine what you guys thought I was.
I was like,
watching.
what was that? And who knows? And and I know everybody on this chat line would like to go up to a liberal that is doing this weird stuff with Aunt Jemima and the Redskins and all that, and just go, wake up right now. Vic, do that today. Go to the nearest liberal and just go up to them and grab their shoulders and go, wake up. And then I dare you to.
Yeah, a Wake Up Wednesday.
Wake up Wednesday. Wake up, liberals.
Guys, we appreciate you joining us today. That's pretty much, we can't have time to get into anything else. I mean, there's just not time.
No,
It's a good show. So we love you guys supporting us, and we appreciate any ideas for advertisers. Continue to like, subscribe, share the show, send us stars. We're grateful for that. And if you have story ideas, let us know. So for Projo and Lizzie Sparks, I'm Vic Faust. That does it for this September 27th podcast. Have an awesome day. We'll see you next time.